On March 4th, 1982, the then Pasadena Town Square opened as the Pasadena area's first major shopping mall. The mall opened as one of the smallest indoor malls in Houston. Even though the mall had a retail space of about 300,000 square feet, it still held big-name stores like Macy's, which was formerly a Foley's, Dillard's, Sears, and the Houston-based Palais Royale. Throughout the years, the mall would gain a large amount of popularity. Despite the less than perfect traffic and lack of a major highway for access, Pasadena Town Square flourished. It basically served its intended purpose as a town center, attracting in people from all parts of Pasadena and the surrounding area. A little over a year after opening, the mall was sold to JMB Realty Corp. For $112 million. By the year 2000, cracks in the mall's well-being began to form. The mall would be sold in 2002 to a local developer, but it's known that in the 20 years prior, it was sold at least twice. In 2006, the Foley's would be converted into a Macy's, but at the same time, the Dillard's would close its doors. In 2016, Pasadena Town Square was renamed to Plaza Paseo Mall and redecorated. The new theming could most accurately be described as a Mexican-American heritage and featured Spanish-inspired design cues throughout the whole mall. During this time, Macy's would close along with their Greenspoint and West Oak locations. Outside of the new name and a fresh coat of paint, very little was changed. The prominent food court fountain still operated during this time, and the structure remained untouched. In 2018, the mall again had its name changed, this time to Macroplaza Mall. The same general design cues were kept, but the fountain was drained and to be replaced with a new wooden dance floor. At this point, the mall's tenancy rate was still relatively high, with all anchors except for the freshly closed Macy's. At this time, the Dillards had been re-leased to a tech company, which would renovate the bottom half of Dillard's to become their main office, but the renovation would stop for unknown reasons. Palais Royale would file for bankruptcy in 2020, resulting in the close of its Macroplaza location. In early 2021, the Sears would be downgraded to an outlet store, and that would then close in 2022. Around this time, the mall stopped any social media work. After the loss of all of its big-name stores and the effects of COVID-19, Macroplaza Mall would rapidly decline. Only 3 tenants remained during our visit. So where's it at now? Alright, today we're at Macroplaza Mall. This is obviously not an abandoned mall, this is a dead mall. There is, I believe, maybe 2 or 3 stores open, but other than that, it's completely dead. We're just gonna start here at the Sears. I mean, this is pretty cool. You don't really see the signs, usually they take them all out. This Sears actually closed in 2021. There's not a whole lot of Sears that I think made it until 2021. That's obviously kind of in the middle of COVID there. So it's just kind of weird to see one that survived that long. You can already see like a bunch of water damage coming in. I did really want to show you guys what is past that wall. It is obviously a closed off portion of the mall, and you'll see some of that in B-roll because we did get back there during B-roll. We film B-roll before we film in the actual walkthrough but we did get in trouble with the mall manager. Talked our way out of it though. She's perfectly fine with what we're doing now. If you want to see pictures of that closed off area, go look on Instagram, guys. They're going to be on there. So this is going to be a fairly short walkthrough because I can only show you half of the mall. Before we leave this wing though, this is one of the few remaining stores. It is a dress store. I've heard it's been here a little while, but that is the only store in this wing of the mall. And look at that, they still have the Sears sign all lit up. That's really cool. Obviously there's no kiosks though. There's a bunch of the candy machines though, which is pretty cool. Now we're coming into this main event center, if you will. This is the main part of the mall. Honestly, this is one of the coolest malls I've ever seen. Like in person, it's absolutely stunning. Here's what's left of the Palais Royale. Honestly, this is a really cool looking storefront. The colors are really cool, but you can see the tile is peeling back, coming off the wall. Honestly, probably the best storefront in the whole mall. Now this down here did used to be a giant fountain, but they kind of went over it. Obviously fountains are very expensive to maintain, but also when this mall did get a new owner, they kind of shifted their focus a little bit to becoming a community center. So you'll see this stage used a lot for shows and stuff like that. I even believe, based off the website, they have done some wrestling stuff here, which is really cool. And just across from there is, again, one of the few remaining places still open in this mall. It's a hair salon. But other than that, this is all pretty dead. There is one more store down there, which we'll get to, but that's one of the last few. This Caps and More store, you hear a lot about it when you look into this mall. There was a lot of interviews done in this store. They just recently closed. This was the most recent closure in this mall, so it did make it pretty far, but unfortunately it did close just a few months back. This whole wing is just nothing over here. I do believe that this originally was the main entrance for the mall. Back in the day, I wasn't able to find anything online about it, but right out there is the Sears, and the Sears was built after the mall. The mall had been here for, I believe, 10 years before they built, well, not exactly 10 years, but the mall had been here for at least 10 years before they built that Sears. And I believe that this was the original mall entrance. There's a whole big thing out there, and we'll go out there, that actually says Pasadena Town Square, which is the former name of this mall. But you can see the Sears is now out there. And I mean, doesn't this just look like a kind of like a patch job? And I think if you go out there, because I have been out there before, but I don't really remember off the top of my head, I believe these are all doors behind this wall. And I know this right here, I believe, is a really big restaurant that we'll also take a look at from the outside. Other than that though, there's nothing really over here. I don't really know what this is, but it's closed off. And again, this is an entirely dead wing. This beauty academy is still open. It was open just a few hours ago. We have been here for a couple hours. But yeah, other than that, this whole wing is dead. All you can hear back here is just the buzz of electricity. It's pretty nostalgic and pretty cool. So this is where the Dillards used to be. This was the Dillards front. Now this is Ventec. I don't know what Ventec is. I believe, from what the mall manager told me, it's like a clinic, but I'm not too sure. but this is where the Dillards used to be. This is a 2-story space. We have gotten inside of this before. Again, we already got caught getting into parts of the mall we weren't supposed to be in by the manager today, so I'm not gonna try to get in there again. If you want to see what the upstairs of the Dillards look like, the Dillards closed in 2006. It is unrenovated, it's super retro, it's really cool. If you want to see what that looked like, go check it out on Instagram. I am not trying to shamelessly plug our Instagram, but unfortunately, I'm just not able to show you as much of this mall as I wanted to. But this is another entrance here. This entrance is closed. Absolutely nothing down here. But this entrance to me is really weird because this mall is obviously very vibrant. If you know, you've seen it in the video. This is a very bright mall, lots of colors. But this entrance is just all white. All right, we're walking towards the food court now. Again, I do apologize. This is a very short walkthrough. There is some other abandoned buildings on the property though, so we can probably go take a look at those and actually spend some time in those. Obviously the music is pretty loud over here. The final open store in the mall is right there. And that is just like a little knick-knack store. But yeah, this is the food court. There's really nothing going on in here. It's very colorful, but everything is closed. There's no food, which I think is funny because the website for this mall shows that there's great food here. But unfortunately, it's all dead now. Here's the main entrance, and even the main entrance is kind of falling apart. Well guys, the camera is about to die and there's nothing really else I can film. So I guess that's gonna be the end of this video. Thanks for watching.